Does the water continue to run into your washing machine when it should stop, or does it stop but it stops really slowly? Or maybe even it continues to drip and run a little bit into your drum when it should stop? Well, that's what we're going to work on and fix today. Hello, welcome to Do It Yourself with Wayne. Our channel is all about teaching you how to do things yourself to save money. So if you like to save money, subscribe to our channel. We'll help you with that. Now let's move on. First, I'm going to demonstrate what our problem is with this machine. I'm going to talk about the tools you'll need to fix the problem, and I'll talk about the parts and how to make sure you get the right part to fix this problem. And it is a very easy problem to fix. You just need a little bit of knowledge and know how to get the right part, and you can do this. Now to demonstrate our problem. Right now our cold water is turned off, our hot water is turned on. If we hit the start button with the machine set for normal, it'll do its little sensing thing and then it'll start running hot water. Takes a minute. Okay, there it's running the hot water in. Now if I raise the lid, the water should cut off. As you can see, it did. It's still a little bit dripping back here, but that's just, where the air is backflowing into the lines and draining them a little bit. But that's normal operation. Now I'm going to cut the machine off. I'm going to turn the hot water off. I'm going to turn the cold water on, and we'll see how it reacts differently. Okay, now I've turned the hot off, the cold's on, I hit start again. Same routine as before. Okay, it started a little bit sooner, but it's running the cold water now. See how slow it's turning off? And sometimes it just doesn't turn off at all. But that's our problem. Now the first thing you got to do is determine what parts you need to repair your machine. And in this case it's called an inlet valve, and that's the part that turns the water coming into the machine off and on when the machine calls for water to be turned off and on. In our case, the part looks like this. Yours may or may not look the same, but it is called an inlet valve. So the first thing you got to do is find the part number for what you need. Now inside of our Maytag, there's a label right here just under the door that gives you the manufacturer and the model number of the machine. You can take that and do a Google search, and you can find sources where you can find part numbers for parts to repair your own machine. As an example, ours is a Maytag, and that part number, once I looked it up, it also fits Whirlpool machines, Amana, English, I guess is the way it's pronounced, and General Electric machines, as well as Maytag, all use this same part. So if you have a part that looks like this, and this is for the hot water, this is for the cold water. If you can put your hand between those two where the hose is attached on the back, there's a good chance that this part is what you need. But still, I would strongly recommend that you look it up to find out what part you need before you order it. But we will put a link in the description to the part that we used, which is this part. And most of them, like I said, the inlet for cold and hot are closer together, and that's a good way to help identify them. But look your numbers up first. As far as what you'll need to repair this machine, you will almost certainly need a pair of pliers of some sort to remove the water hoses on the back of your inlet valves. You're going to need a screwdriver. Now the tip size is called a T20. It's one of those splined looking weird things, but it's a T20 is the size of that tip. You will need that to remove it. And it's good to have a putty knife. If you don't have a putty knife, I'll show you how you're supposed to use it. I'll also show you a way to get by with not using it. So at this point, let's get this machine repaired. Now the first thing you got to do is get your console here loose to where you can pull it forward out of your way. And that's where you need the putty knife. You go under the edge Let's see, maybe you can see this side better. You go under there, and there's a latch that you got to push back. If you get it pushed back far enough, see how that lifted up? Now that's what you got to do. You do both sides, and then this whole panel will lift up and out of your way. You may have trouble getting that pushed back with a putty knife. I've also found that you can, if you don't have a putty knife, you can reach under from underneath here, and there's a little aluminum tab that comes down, and you got to flex it back to release the latch on there. So let me see if I can do that with my hand on this side. Okay, I released that one with my hand from underneath. As you can see, this is up a little bit now, and you just kind of lift it up a little bit and pull it forward. And right there is your inlet valves that we're going to be replacing. So at this point, probably should have done it sooner, but let's go ahead and unplug the machine and make sure both water valves are turned off. That one's off. Cold is off. Unplug the machine. Okay. Now, we got to remove the water hoses from the back of the inlet valves. That's where you need you probably will need your pliers. Now we've got our machine unplugged. We've got all of our water lines cut off. We've got the water cut off. We've got the water lines removed from the back here. And this is our part. You got one wire here that comes up to here. We've got to unplug that. There's a little tab on the back side that you mash in. We'll loosen it up and it comes loose. Just work it out of the path where it goes, and under there. That's the only wire you got to take loose. And then right here you got two screws, one there and one here. That's your T20. So let's take those two screws loose. And you may have noticed I had to flex this back a little bit to get these ends out, but it's easy to flex that. And so there's our part. Here's our replacement part. So now we'll put the replacement part in there. That white part just sticks down in the hole. Flex that back seal back so the inlets there will go in. And you just need to look in here and make sure you get things lined up right. Once you get it lined up like you want it, you start your screws back in these holes. Don't tighten the first one down until you get the second one started. Now, one thing I want to caution you about, when you tighten up your two screws here, they do go into nylon. It's not metal, it's nylon or some kind of plastic material. So you want them good and snug, but don't over tighten them. If you over tighten them, you can strip them out, and that can cause you problems. So you want them snug, but not real tight. Then you take your wire route it back through here where it was before. Under that little thing there. Plug it in up here at the top. Just like the old one came out. I think the wire's a little bit shorter. That's okay. It'll just stay out of the way. Now at that point, you're finished installing the part. You got to put your display back or your control panel back on. And this lip right here fits in here. This goes behind it. This goes in front of it. So when you put this in, make sure that this edge goes in between there. So now I'm going to do that. Let's see, I've got my power cord and I'm going to go ahead and hook up my water hoses just to have them out of my way because I don't want them to fall down. Now I haven't really tightened them up yet. I just wanted to put them in there so they wouldn't fall down out of my way. But if you look at your back panel, there's this part right here. It's a little tab that sticks out. There's one on both sides. They go down in these little square holes back here in the back. And then this part here is the part that you pushed back. Hopefully you can see that. Let's see. This one's kind of hard to see too. But they go down into the rectangular holes at the front. So put your panel on that back part first. Make sure that goes in the back like I showed you. You should line up. And these fronts, you just push them down to the click. And now your control panel is back on and in place. Now the only thing I got left to do is snug up my water hoses because I haven't done that yet and plug in my power. So I'm going to do that now. Now at this point, we got our console put back on. We got our water hoses hooked up and tightened down. We got our water turned on. We're plugged in. So now let's turn our machine on. Right now we got the water set for hot. So let's turn it on. There's our hot water running. Open the lid, it turns off. Close the lid, it turns back on. I'm going to switch over to tap cold, which is nothing but cold water. It'll take it a minute to sense, and then the cold water should cut on. Now you can hear the cold water running. I'll raise the lid and the cold water turns off. Close the lid, it starts back up. So there you have it. Another easy fix of this washing machine that the cold water wouldn't cut off on us. We replaced the part and now it works fine. So at this point, I'd just like to say thank you for visiting. Do it yourself with Wayne. We would really appreciate it if you click like on our videos, subscribe to our channel, do all those things. And we just hope you have a great day.